Hi, I'm Miro, and welcome back to Driftwood. So, last time we got shot, and our girlfriend left us. She moved to another city, while we're gonna transfer to a new school. And that's about it. Let's continue. It's been about 4.5 months since my incident in the city. I haven't spoken a word to Michaela since the day I left her house, and my arm is mostly healed. The plans of me going to the new school are now in motion. Everything seems to be changing so quickly and out of my control. With a waved goodbye to my parents and a small hike up the gangplank of the boat, I find myself already taking the first steps towards starting my new life on Martha's vineyard. Vineyard. I don't know. And yet, at times like these, I find myself staring off into the distance, and I have to turn down the music every fucking time. Why do I keep my headphones always on max? Wondering what's going to happen to me next. I'm sure I look like an idiot when I do it. But hell, I can't help it. I'm still a kid. I think deep down everyone's still a kid, and becoming an adult is just learning how to hide the childishness. That was hard. Sorry. I'm not a native English speaker, so you have to pardon me if I fuck up. Anyway. I leaned my head back from the dirty interior window of the ferry, letting my mind drift from the idea of starting my new life as I glanced around the inside of the boat. People walk about silently, finding their own seats, always a good distance away from others, minding their own lives as most do. Each one passing has me wondering about the details of their history and past. It makes me feel so small and insignificant. I spent so much time during my summer break and the first few weeks of the school year moping around about my own life. It's selfish, really, considering how many people are on this planet that have actual problems. I sigh and tilt my head back against the glass, getting out of the vineyard sound with a strange mix of emotions brewing in my dejected but still beating heart. The water looks calm, and the sun is high in the sky, with only a few clouds spotting the blue expanse. A new school, a new life, a new chance to make a history. I've cut ties with my old friends, and I have hardly any connection with them aside from social media websites, which I hardly use anyway. Wow, don't use Facebook? That's weird. I do have friends who don't use Facebook, but shit, it's still weird to see someone who doesn't use social networks. Anyway, but this is for the best, I suppose, or at least what my parents think. The soft sound of waves and gulls cawing can be heard outside the window, and the slow rumble and roar of the boat's engines echo quietly in the hull of the ship. The massive engines make the whole steel frame of the boat vibrate slightly. It gives off this almost annoying buzzing sound that is irritating if you actually pay attention to it. Luckily, the sound is interrupted by the Hispanic-sounding voice of a man speaking through a speaker system throughout the boat. I shift my head away from the window to listen as he speaks. Welcome aboard the MV Safeguard. Please keep all children supervised. He goes on to speak about the safety regulations of the ferry and all the possibilities of horrible events and fucking Facebook. And what procedures would take place if they did occur. I space his voice out and just lean back against the window. Once the engines are fully running we depart, and I watch the shore get farther and farther from sight. We hope you enjoy your stay or visit to Martha's vineyard and have a nice day. The speaker fizzes out and the static replaces the man's voice for a short time before a plug is pulled and the speaker system dies out. I gaze out at the ripples of water the ship creates, and as it glides across the ocean deftly. It's hypnotic watching and hearing the faint churn of the sea against the heavy steel hull. I lid my eyes partially, lured into a half-asleep state, before the sight of a child running by at a high speed while yelling awakes me. Once a baby starts to cry if she sits down, the concept of sleeping for the rest of the trip is thrown away. Fucking children. School vacation is long gone and everyone is back to their daily routine, including myself, even if I am a few weeks late. except this routine isn't familiar at all. Over the course of the summer, I had a lot of free time, and I spent a good deal of it watching the news and researching on the internet. I came to the conclusion that the reason that man decided to shoot me was because I wasn't supposed to see the robbery or his car license plate. Not that I would have been able to remember it even if I tried. Just unlucky timing for us to have been there, I suppose. Regardless, it's not something I want to go through again. Martha's Vineyard seems like a nice substitute for possibly getting shot up in another incident. I've already had my fair share of other people's conflicts, so not being involved at all sounds like a promising idea. I let them live their lives and they'll let me live mine. The boat is close enough to the island now to see the roads and houses dotting the shoreline. It looks quaint, a little dated, but just as developed as any other place I've seen in Massachusetts. Wow, I can't believe I pronounced that right. Did I pronounce that right? I'm not sure now. The sound of the speaker system turning back on rings out, followed by the same man from earlier. Preparation for docking commencing. Please keep clear of MV safeguard personnel. Walk-on passengers will be exiting on the port side. Man in shaggy-looking sailor uniform stands to unhinge a door from the boat's interior, working levers and grabbing onto ropes in an organized procedure. The boat rocks and sways for only a moment as it bounces between the heavy timber barriers of the docking area. The men open the exterior doors of the ship, and with the help of a few men on the docks, they lock the boat into place and hoist a gangplank up to latch onto the level of the boat's opening. Slowly and steadily people start to disembark. Did I pronounce that right? I'm not sure what I'm saying actually. I join them, descending from the boat and step into the morning silence of my new life. Yeah. Oh! Animated cutscene? Holy shit! Well, it's not the best art style, but still, it's an animated cutscene, that's good. Could be better, but it's still good. Oh yeah, we begin the game. Driftwood. What the fuck is that? What was that? A ghost? Is that League of Legends? Oh my god. Hey, Bob Marley. What the fuck is this game? Are these all the girls I'm gonna meet? I mean, I guess so. There's a lot of them. Can I fuck the ghost? Oh, okay. Kinda weird. The sunbeams hang in the sky, showering its warmth down onto the earth as to bless all life with its presence. It soaks into my skin, warming up the wall of my body as I lean back against a bench outside the boat terminal. I have to turn down the music again. Okay. I don't really have the best headphones, so if the music is too loud, you're gonna hear it twice. I stare ahead at the water stretching out in the distance, glimmering as the surface sways to and fro. The mainland now appears to be only a small sheet of earth painted over the ocean's canvas. It's a mostly blank void of uninteresting brown and green that only adds to my contemplation of the whole situation. My parents want me to have the best future and a lot of room to develop into my own person, with as little stress as possible. Whether or not I think this is the right choice isn't really up for debate, so here I am in my new makeshift home. A daintily little island called Martha's Vineyard, discovered into the early 1600s by a group of English-backed explorers who decided it'd be best to name the island after the captain's daughter. Think about Martha, Superman! Or Batman, it was the other way around. All in all, I get to start a new school year, knowing nothing of the teaching ethics, none of the people, none of the landscape or towns, and none of the culture or lifestyle. Nothing. Well, I do know of one person, but I don't really know him. My uncle Xavier, a distant family relative, is supposed to be picking me up. He's late though. Dad described him as a drunken old has-been who is unreliable and has a tendency of sitting on his ass all day. Seems promising. Seems promising and already very self-evident based on the fact he's not on time. I'm in no rush though, so taking things slow and enjoying my last moments of summer vacation is fine. In hindsight, I'm sort of happy that my parents care about me to the extent that they do, paying for my schooling year and the like. I have to burp. So, if anything, I guess I just have to make the best of all of this while I still can. Then I really need to read. Need to learn to read. I'm so bad at this. I think that's a good way to be. Living each moment to the fullest, regardless of the bad or good that comes of it. I dig my hands around in my pockets until I find my phone. It's probably best to tell my parents I'm here safe and sound. I send them a simple text and then scroll through the contacts, finding the one I added a few hours ago that was supposed to be Xavier's. My thumb taps the enter key and I bring it to my ear with an annoyed sigh. The phone rings for a few moments before it's picked up, the sound of a bothered-sounding person yelping out from the other hand. Yeah, I'm on my way, don't worry. He hangs up before I can even say anything. Rude. I guess back up to the sky, a soft puff of air leaving my lungs as the puffy white clouds in the distance blow by without a care. They are seemingly unaffected by the world around them, just little slices of serenity and peace floating in the atmosphere aimlessly. I wonder if that's what the island is like, at least that's what my parents probably want it to be. A little escape, a place for me to grow up, or better yet, a place for me not to get shot. The sound of my untuned engine rose The sound of an untuned engine rose nearby, and a car recklessly swerves into the parking lot with such a little regard of safety for others, it can only be my uncle. The driver nearly hits a guy walking from the boat terminal to the town nearby. He even manages to bump into a sign before eventually coming to a halt. His parking is remarkably careless. It's an awe-inspiring sight, seeing someone take up 3 whole parking spaces with one car. I don't even think I could manage that, and I don't know how to drive. The door of the trashy, beaten down and scratched up vehicle pops open, and an older man steps out carelessly, brushing off his spent legs with his palms. He has crumbs all over his torso and pants, and looks just as disheveled as he's driving. We cross eyes for an instant, and he jogs over excitedly and embraces me into a tight bear hug, lifting me off my feet and waving me around like a child. Ah, Marcus, it's been years! As much as I love hugs, the old man is nearly squeezing me to death, so I'm forced to wheeze out a greeting back to him. Xavier, my arm! Oh, right, sorry. He sets me back down onto my feet, giving my wounded shoulder a cynical and comforting pat. Quite a lad you've grown up to be. Thanks, it's good to see you too. I glance down to spot the remnants of Xavier's lunch scattered on my own clothing, forcing me to take the effort of brushing them off so I don't look like a slob. So, have you had lunch? Eating lunch sounds good, although the question leaves me a bit baffled due to the crumbs that were on Xavier to begin with. I haven't. He gives me a nod and paces over to the car that is taking off out of the parking lot, gesturing for me to get in the passenger seat. There's a little bakery on the way onto the school if you want to grab something to eat there. I throw my bags into the back seat of his car, which has dirty clothes and old magazines scattered across the floor and seating. Slipping into the front seat, I see it's a little less of an eyesore, and he actually manages to keep the front portion of the car a little cleaner than the back. It's still fairly disgusting though. Lunch, then school, eh? Aye. Luckily, his driving isn't an issue now that he's in no rush, and we steadily make our way through small clusters of traffic. So, 17 and all grown up, eh? Guess you could say that. I offer Xavier a casual smile as we travel down the road, spotting a sign indicating this was Vineyard Haven. Xavier talks the whole way as we drive inland, the ocean and the mainland vanishing from view behind the scrub oaks and grey shingled buildings. We arrive at the bakery and sit at a table on a patio overlooking the road once I get some food. Luckily for me, Xavier isn't hungry, so I don't have to witness of the crumbs from his previous meal landed all over him. I got a simple sandwich, turkey, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes and on the like. Doesn't look this simple, I mean there's plenty of stuff in there. The first bite is rewarding enough, but after a while the taste is bland. So, what do you think of coming here for the next year? Wait. He got a sandwich from a bakery? Don't bakery sell cakes and sweets and all that shit? Where did he get a sandwich from? I don't understand this. I'm a bit nervous, but looking forward to it, I guess. He gives a subtle nod and glances out towards the road, watching as cars slowly pass by one by one. It's a nice place. You might not like it at first, but it grows on you. Jesus. What do you mean by that exactly? What's not to like? The people here are probably a little different than what you're used to in the city, is all. Oh my god, is this Persona 4? He gets from the city to like a little town for a year. This is Persona 4. Holy shit. More laid back, I guess. Kind of like fake hippies. Crunchy granola types. Crunchy. Why did I say crunchy? But the point is, this place is special. If you're here long enough, it'll have a certain draw to it. You won't want to leave. The arch of my eyebrow rises in curiosity at his explanation. I'm sure I'll get used to it after a while. I wasn't too attached to Boston. It'll just be different not being with mom and dad. Xavier turns his attention back towards me and offers a small smile of agreement. Say, how's the family doing anyways? I haven't been up to visit you since you were a kid. I'd say same as always, but I'm sure we've changed since you last visited. My mind processes what might have changed in the 10 years that have passed so quickly. Now that I think about it, the fact I'm a senior is a bit astonishing. Life just keeps getting faster and faster paced. It seems like yesterday I was a freshman, and now I'm nearly out of high school. I guess my dad's business had picked up from when we last met. My mother is doing fine. Xavier nods his head, listening intently. Your dad is still in the gaming industry then? Yep, he just came out with a recent release, so we have a bit of extra money. Not much though. Xavier takes in a deep breath, mulling over what I've said before responding a little off topic. I think you'll like the school here. They're fairly laid back, but all the high standard when it comes to final grades. The combination doesn't seem like it would work, but I'll assume Xavier is telling the truth. Or he's just really bad at coming up with comparisons. I'm looking forward to it. They got dorms and everything, yeah? I already knew the answer to this question from scanning over the school website, but being reassured by someone who lives here is always nice. Fancy ones too, they're really high quality, it's like a condo. That's a bit generous, I'm sure they're not that great. I'm actually not over-exaggerating. Xavier gives me a surprised look, as if he too were dubbed to a first speculation. We'll see, it's definitely something to look forward to. Xavier stands up upright and checks his watch before nodding, making the silent statement that we should get going. I finish my meal as quickly as I can and we continue on with our journey, small talking and catching up as we drive towards the school. We pull into the rotary driveway of the school's campus, and at first glance it looks more like an old folks' home than something designed for a high school. The front entrance itself is less remarkable looking than I had expected. It's an old worn-down building, probably constructed in the 90s. The only thing modern is a huge array of solar panels set up on the roof. I can't really see them though. I was expecting something a little more distinguishable from the rest of the buildings I've seen around the island, which all seem to be cedar shingled assault boxes. I really can't read sometimes. The text is all so white and it's so it's hard to read. It's hard to read. I can't lie that I'm a little disappointed at how poor the place looks on the outside. Hopefully the school makes up for looks in academic strength. Well, this is the place. Xavier gives my shoulder another firm pat, making me tighten up slightly out of a reflective instinct. I was expecting something a little more modern. I mean, the entrance doesn't even have a gate or a sign. Are you sure about the dorms? He nods, making his way up the steps towards the school front door, without another word. He opens the door and steps inside, but I pause, peering up at the plaque that hangs above the school's front door, which says nothing more than welcome. How inviting. With a deep breath, I grip the door handle and open the door, stepping inside. The inside of the building proves to be just as dated as the outside, which is making me feel a little cautious about my parents' decision to send me here. What is this, a school for misfits and delinquents? At the very least, the inside is cooler and air-conditioned, making it a little pleasant. I never had air conditioning at my old school, so this is a welcome change. Hello? Anyone around? Xavier stands at the front desk of the school, waiting for someone to show up to speak about my enrollment. My eyes are free to wander over the vastness of the school structure. From the outside it looked a lot smaller, but it turns out it was just the viewing point. There is a long, seemingly endless hall which splits off into different hallways, sections and rooms. One of the most noticeable things is all the books lining the walls down the length of the hall. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't read this fucking text. Along with the tables and desks. I think it's safe to assume that there isn't. Fuck me, I can't read today. Okay, let me something. I think it's safe to assume that it isn't really a library and this is their substitute. This place keeps getting dumpier and dumpier. Oh, hello? A feminine voice rings out from Xavier's direction and I turn my head back toward the front desk to see a woman addressing my uncle. She's tall, somewhat curvy and neatly dressed. I'm Elizabeth, how can I help you two? I can tell the looks catch Xavier's attention when he replies in a gentlemanly tone. Ah, good day, Miss Elizabeth. I'm Xavier and this is my nephew, Marcus. We're here to inquire about him enrolling at the school. The woman pays no heed to Xavier's manners and smiles at the both of us, her attention directed towards me. Are you looking for a tour or are you checking in? We're checking in. We have already been accepted. Wonderful. Your full name? Marcus Fick. Oh, Fick. A strapping young man ready to learn like he's never learned before. Xavier thrusts his arm to the side, as if exaggerating his strength or my willpower to learn. I can't really tell which. She pays him no attention again and turns to go about clicking through a computer system on the front desk. After a moment, she finds my records. Marcus... She hesitates and looks back down towards the computer, not knowing how to correctly pronounce my last name. You see? I'm not really sure. Marcus Fick, kind of like a ficus plant. So it's Fick! Ah, so Fick? A woman smirks, seemingly entertained by my name. I get your dorm room, kid. Be right back. She disappears into a back room and I turn my attention back towards Xavier, who seems discouraged by the woman's lack of interest in him. You know she's too young for you anyways. What? I wasn't insinuating anything. I'm not sure what's more remarkable, the fact that Xavier is so cheesy in his antics, or the fact that he thought I wouldn't recognize his feeble attempt at flirting. You're kind of obvious. I guess you really can't teach old dogs new tricks. He pouts and rolls his shoulders back as if to brush it off. Soon enough, the front desk woman returns, handing me an envelope with my name on it. Thank you. Not a problem, Marcus. If you ever need anything during school hours, don't hesitate to come and ask me. The dorms are down the opposite path from the entrance of the school, so follow the pathway and you'll find them. It's about a 10-minute walk if you take your time. 10-minute walk? What is this? An entire town? She offers a genuinely friendly smile, making me feel very welcome. I mean, 10-minute walk to... Did I catch that right? 10-minute walk to get around? Isn't that too much? You really don't... I don't think you understand what 10 minutes are. I'd join you, but my assistance is needed elsewhere right this second, so feel free to let yourself in. Thanks, I appreciate it. Elizabeth scatters off down the hallway, then, turning down another branch and disappearing from sight. I turn my attention to Xavier, who is happily scratching his head now that he knows his attempts have been fruitless. You're hopeless. Scoffing Jesus Christ, I had to burp. Scoffing at Xavier makes him self-conscious, and he returns to putting on the charade of being a gentleman, fixing the collar of his shirt and jacket. Stepping outside reminds me how cool it is in the building compared to the late summer heat that continues to beat heavily down from the sky. To my relief, a gentle breeze rolls around at the school's grounds, taking a good deal of the skin-tingling heat away from a short time. I take in a deep breath and enjoy the refreshingly clean air of my new island home. Compared to the smog of the city and the always roaring sound of cars and trucks, this place seems promising for a place to study and concentrate. The clean air, quiet locations, and seemingly friendly people, I am not sure what else I could ask for, aside from maybe a higher tech school. Xavier bumps into my pulse body, pushing me forward as he opens the door. He gives my arm another pat as he's outside. Huh, it's cold in there, ain't it? It was nice. So how about we get your stuff and set you up? Sounds like a plan. He gives Xavier a modest smile of approval at the idea, appreciating his help with getting me settled. It's not like he really knows me or my family. I'm sure he could have blown this whole thing off and pretended to be busy. A short trip back to Xavier's car allows me to grab my belongings and head towards the door with him tagging along by my side. We make our way through the meadow with numerous trees sprouting up in small clusters along the sides of the pathway. The path continues on until two pillars of stone along with a large wall that trails off into the woods becomes visible. The trail continues on behind into the forest. Seems like some sort of gate. Maybe they put more effort into the aesthetics of the dorms? We pass through the gate and make our way into the patch of woods, a sign directing us along the path. Dormitories. Well, looks like this is the right way. It's a bit of a walk, I'd say. Make sure you wake up early to be on time for classes. Oh, so wait, it's a 10-minute walk from the school to the dorms. I didn't catch it at first. I was like, what the fuck, 10-minute walk around the school? Well, I guess I'm just dumb. I glance back at Xavier, who is now a few feet behind me, seeming to struggle with keeping up. Poor guy is out of shape. Eventually, the forest path opens up into another open field, and we see the outline of the two large buildings. They appear more alluring and contemporary, making up for the main school building's shabby appearance. As we get closer to the building, we spot a centerpiece within the two buildings, a large fountain that is surrounded by vibrant and lush plants. I need a moment, I can't read this much. I smile at the new atmosphere and scan side to side, spotting a small sign that hangs over the male dorm and another over the female dorm. Males on the right, females on the left. Interesting, the dorms are so close together I can't imagine it be possible to keep the students from hanging out with one another in each other's buildings or in each other's rooms, which of course could lead to trouble. Huh, well, if you get a girlfriend, she's right next door. The remarks seeming to have been thinking along the same lines. Yeah, right. Kinda weird. Even if you get a boyfriend, he'd be right next door. Xavier chuckles loudly as if his joke was funny. Ha. I make my way towards the main door, bringing my luggage up the steps before opening the door and pushing inside. As we enter the dorms, I feel even more relieved at the sight of the inside of the building. It's almost the same styling and atmosphere of the entrance to a high-class hotel, air-conditioned and with a fresh, pleasant smell to go along with the modern architecture. On top of this, they have what looks like a game and lounge area on the right, and a kitchen and dining area on the left. Overall, it's just a great common place for all students to use and hang out in. Hang out in? What? Wowza, look at this place, what did I tell you? Yeah, wow, this is nice. What's your room number? I glanced down at the envelope in my still recovering hand and arm, the other grasping at the straps of my belongings, yanking them closer to my shoulder. On the envelope I see the number 117. Taking a look around the entry hall of the dorms, I found a small plaque which labels where each section of the dorm is located. 117. My room is upstairs on the left side of the building, facing the garden area on the female dorm. Xavier and I hoist my things up once more and walk up the stairs, following the direction of the wall plaques until we're standing outside my door. My hallway looks a little unused, and I feel like this part of the door might not have many residents. Clink. The sun comes from the room across the hallway from me, and I notice that the door is slightly ajar. I'm tempted to greet my new neighbor, but that might be a little intrusive. Oh, a choice! Nice. I'm gonna say hello. I think it's best that I introduce myself to the person I'm rooming across from. That's the polite thing to do, right? Setting my things down on the ground beside my door, I give my neighbor's door a gentle knock. Hello? All is silent for a moment, but eventually the door whips open and nearly knocks me down. I sidestep out of the way just in time to avoid the edge of the door bashing into my face. In the doorway stands a kid wearing white from head to toe, peering at me suspiciously. Yo! Just thought I'd say hey, I'm moving in across the hall. The kid blinks a few times as if to clear his mind. Finally, after a few seconds of silence, he reaches out, possibly giving my hand a firm shake. My arm kind of just flops up and down like a wet noodle before he lets go. Oh, what up, dog? I'm Matt. Handshakes work fine, right? You're not a hipster who does those secret and overcomplicated ones, yeah? What a peculiar way to greet someone for the first time. No. Normal handshakes are fine. I'm Marcus. I'm a new student at the school. Oh, I think I heard of you. You're the transfer student from, He pauses for a long moment and I fill in the blank with a small smile. And the answer. Boston. Right, Boston. Whatever. I'm put off by his dismissive response, but hold back a disappointed grimace. Hey man, it was really cool meeting you, but I was in the middle of doing something. Alright, I'll talk to you later then. Matt slowly backtracks into his room, closing his door halfway before he stops and pokes his head out from behind it. You're not going to ask what I'm doing? No, it's rude to be nosy. He pauses and gives me a look over, then shoots a glance behind me, which I follow, remembering that Xavier is still with me. A man of wisdom, I see. A long and flourishing friendship will come to us. I promise you this. Just keep your tubby man servants away from my cookie jar. With that, he shuts his door and leaves me out in the hallway. Xavier was watching from the side but stayed a good distance away. How eccentric. Xavier surfs out, but rather annoyed by the remark about his weight. I noticed. The two of us share a confused and somewhat worried look before slipping into my room. My room has all the amenities I could possibly need. A fridge, cupboards, a sink and cooking area, 2 tables and an office chair, and a bathroom with a shower. Aside from that, the room is bare. The only other things that stands out are the large desk that sits in the middle of the room near my bed, and a poster hanging from the wall. The last person who lived here must have left it by accident. Looking around further, I find a pile of neatly folded clothes on the countertop of the kitchen area. The school has a uniform? What is this, Japan? Oh yeah, I nearly forgot about that. They got a flashy uniform that's mandatory to wear. So if you don't want to wear it, you don't have to. So it's not Japan. Doesn't that kind of kill the point of having a uniform? I think it's just for looks. Strange. I feel like I should stop here. It's been 36 minutes. So yeah, we finally arrived in Martha's vineyard. We met that guy, Matt. So yeah, in the next part you're probably gonna meet some other people. We'll see. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Goodbye.